Hi guys and girls, how are you today? Hope everybody's doing well. I am going to be talking this week about respecting authority. And this is part of the Kids of Integrity material that I've gotten from James Dobson, and I have actually done this a few times in the past. But we're going to talk about respecting authority. Can you or anyone at home tell me the definition of authority? Think about it for a minute. By definition, it is the power or right to enforce obedience over someone. And that comes from a Canadian dictionary, or you can look it up on your phone or whatnot. But most everyone, whether we are a child or in school or adult, young adult, teenager, older adult, someone has authority over us. So think of some examples. For children, it can be your parents have authority over you, trying to teach you what is right from wrong and how you should live your life according to the Bible. And then you've got your teachers that would have authority over you. Say you're not old enough to stay home by yourself. You've got possibly babysitters, so they would have authority over you. You may go to spend time with your grandparents, and when you're with your grandparents, they have authority over you. For adults and older adults, the police, they have authority over us and children. We as parents teach you the laws that we must follow and obey, and it goes for adults and children, young adults. All have to follow those same rules. Government, our government that we elect locally, and also to rule over our country. We elect those people in power, and they have authority over us. When we're at church, the pastor has authority over his flock, so to say, or his church members, and we elect to represent the church members. Deacons, they're appointed, have to be voted on inside the church body. So these are people that we elect to help govern, or they have authority over us. Your Sunday school teachers would have authority over you. Be like a teacher if you were at school. So we're going to kind of look at some scriptures and some scenarios and try to get some feedback so you kind of understand why it is important that we respect these people that have authority over us. Okay? So we're going to read Ephesians 6, 5 through 9. And this says, "Slaves, obey your earthly masters with respect and fear, and with sincerity of heart, just as you would obey Christ. Obey them not only to win their favor when their eyes is on you, but as slaves of Christ, doing the will of God from your heart. Serve wholeheartedly, as if you were serving the Lord, not people, because you know that the Lord will reward each one for whatever good they do, whether they are slave or free. And masters, treat your slaves in the same way. Do not threaten them, since you know that he who is both their master and yours is in heaven, and there is no favoritism with him." So right now in our country, we don't necessarily have slaves, although slavery is an issue in other countries still. There's things that go on that's kind of hidden, that some may not know about, where there is in instances a type of slavery still happening in our country, not lawfully, but it is a kind of under the rug or hidden but still present. So we can actually kind of substitute slaves, and really, again, because it is against the law, it's been outlawed. It's not something that should go on in our country. But we could substitute that, as children obeying their parents, or being in a position either with you, if your parents are at work, with our boss over them, and change the roles out. So, like, say you're at school and your authority at school would be your teacher or your principal. Say your teacher steps out of the room. You should do good, whether she's present in the room or whether she's absent. Your actions should be the same, whether her eyes on you or his eyes on you, or if they're out of the room for a moment. Okay? And same thing as a teacher, they shouldn't threaten you to behave a certain way or make you fear them, but use that authority or discipline in a positive and constructive way. Same way for parents. To not just be afraid that you're going to be beaten. Some people are abused. There's difference between discipline and being beaten. So there's a line, and God reminds us that regardless, he's saying for those people that are in authority to remember that God is also over the person that's in authority and the one the person is governing over. So God is over the children, over the parents, and over the teachers. Everybody ultimately is answering to God. So we have to keep that in mind. And he doesn't care what position you hold. He wants you to treat others with respect. So that's a reminder there to keep everybody in check. The next scripture we're going to look at is 1 Thessalonians 5:12. Okay? It says, "Now we ask you, brothers and sisters, to acknowledge those who work hard among you, who care for you in the Lord, and who are admonished by you." Okay? Our next verse that we're going to talk about is Romans 13:1. 13:1. It says, "Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God." Okay? So we must be respectful, and we must be subject to whoever is over us. And later on in that chapter, it goes into more details about honoring the government that is over you, paying taxes, and he says, if you owe them, pay them. Give everyone to them what you owe them. If you owe taxes, pay taxes. If revenue, then revenue. If respect, then respect. If honor, then honor. And that is in Romans 13:7. So we may not always be the one in authority, especially as you're growing. You're probably not going to be the one in authority. You're going to be the one that's being governed. But we got to be respectful, okay? We're going to talk about something that happened with Hezekiah. So this is in Isaiah 36. Let's get to Isaiah. Isaiah, Jeremiah, if you remember kind of the books of the Bible, kind of keep you to be able to find it. It's in the Old Testament. All right, so in 36, this story is in chapter 36 and 37. It's kind of long, so we'll just kind of maybe paraphrase or sum it up a little bit. The king of Assyria, and the name of that king was Sennacherib. I hope I pronounced that right. I think I did. He was a very powerful king, and he had defeated many of the nations surrounding Jerusalem, where Hezekiah, king of the Israelites, were. So Sennacherib sent his men to mock Hezekiah and God, okay, intending to turn the Israelite people against Hezekiah and God. I don't know if that'd be a good idea to do, would you? I don't think so. Hezekiah could have gotten angry and yelled disrespectful things back to Sennacherib's men, but instead, he asked his people to remain silent. That's hard to do. If anybody's ever talked bad about your friend or called you names or just said hurtful things, maybe trying to get to you, might even say hurtful things about your parents, calling them names. That's definitely not something you want to do, but it's something to try to make you mad, try to make you get angry and lose your temper, and kind of just challenging how you're going to react, okay? So Hezekiah, instead of reacting, he said, instead of you yelling disrespectful things back, he asked his people to remain silent. So Hezekiah went to God and prayed. That's the first thing that we should do. Hold our tongue and pray about it, so that we don't say, like we had talked about earlier, once those words come out, you can't get them back, right? So we need to stop, pray about it. God chose to deliver the Israelites by sending an angel to fight for them, killing 185,000 of Sennacherib's men during the night. So it does not pay to mock God. Okay? So one lesson to kind of learn from that is when others treat us with disrespect, we should remain silent and ask God, what should we do in return, instead of arguing and taunting back, because that just kind of escalates the situation, making it worse, because then both people are getting angry. This one's fighting this one, and it just keeps going up and up and up and up and up, and there's no resolve. You can't work that way. You can't work things out. The other lesson is that God is worthy of our respect, and there are severe consequences for disrespecting God. So Sennacherib's men were mocking God, trying to get a rise out of the people, trying to turn them against Hezekiah, but it backfired on them because Hezekiah said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to seek God's will. And when he did that, he stopped and he asked God, what should I do? What needs to be done? Or praying, God, show us the way. God stepped in and fought for them instead. So God will fight our battles. And, there's things that, will arise we may not agree with. And we need to pray about it. We need to ask God to show us wisdom And if it's something that we feel like we can't do, God will step in and take over and take control and handle it for us. So we have to put our faith and trust that He will do that. And it all comes down to respecting authority. Okay? We still are respectful. We're not shouting ugly, hateful things at other people or trying to mar them or make them look bad in front of other people or knocking them down. We are still respecting them, but God can step in to defeat them. Okay? Talk to your parents and kind of discuss with them, maybe in your situation, who has authority over you. Obviously, they have authority over you, but talk to them about other situations that you deal with day to day, and when you perhaps disagree with something, about ways that you can go about expressing how you feel, but without being disrespectful, hateful, and angry about it. So how we serve is we're going to serve as if we are working for God, not just because the eyes are on us at that time. Just the example that I gave, maybe your teacher steps out of the room. We're going to behave the same and treat others the same, whether the teacher or your parent is present or not, because that's how we are going to serve God. Is we're to help or do work for others as if we are working for God. And I promise you, if you're working for God, you're going to make sure you're doing the best, tip-top, going the extra effort, putting in that extra mile, because you want to impress God. You want to be submissive to God. You want to do God's will, to make Him proud of you, just like how you would want your parents to be proud of you. You want God to be proud of you. So you want to work hard no matter what you're doing, as if you are doing those things for Christ. And, and your attitude, the way you look at things will change if you implement these things in your life. Speaking to your parents as if you were speaking to God, if He was over you, if He is our Heavenly Father, and when He gets on to us, you better believe we're going to listen, and we're not going to backtalk or be disrespectful to Him, because if we are, we're going to be, we will definitely be reprimanded, because we are His children. We have to be disciplined. All right. I pray that each one of you, again, take this and apply it to your life, in your situations, wherever you're at, whether you're home or school. And know it is so important to respect authority and those that are over us. Okay? I hope y'all have a great week, and I will see you guys next weekend or next week. Bye.